Welcome back to the Oddity Shop, the podcast where we tell you creepy, odd, weird, strange, and bizarre stories from around the world. I'm your curator, Zachary, sitting here with your other lovely curator, Kara.
I thought you were going to say Kara. I have like a slight bone to pick with you because you've done this the last couple episodes that you have to introduce.
Oh, what am I doing?
You stopped saying around the little globe. And you used to always say that. And I love when you say around the little globe and you keep saying world lately.
Oh.
And I don't know why
I'm
you
sorry.
changed it. Just
I didn't even realize it.
around our little globe or whatever you used to say.
I can go back to globe. I'll do my best.
We could switch it up. But the last couple, I feel like it's been world.
A world. Okay, it still works.
How are you?
I am doing fabulous. We're gonna go fabulous. I have a nice spiked Arnold Palmer. It is a cool fall night. I'm not gonna complain about it because I'm here doing the thing that I like pretty much the most. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go that same route because otherwise it'll just get dark over here.
It's the week before Thanksgiving. We can't go dark.
Oh, it is. What I will say is I'm no longer talking about my health stuff on here because my neighbor heard it, freaked out, calls me. Then I didn't answer in 2 minutes. Joan reached out to my husband because she heard that I was in the emergency room. And that was like, weeks. She heard it weeks
We have
after.
a 5-week lead.
Yeah, it was so funny. It was very cute. So,
aw, she just cares.
No. It was very cute. Also, thank you everybody that has DM'd me privately, reached out to me and like gave me all their things that they do for like their ADHD and like managing. That's been like super helpful. So I don't think I'll never talk about health stuff because it's kind of nice. It's nice to share things and then get positive responses. And I loved it. But other than that, you don't want to know what's going on over here for that other health reasons.
Fair.
But
we'll just move.
Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
I was thinking we'll just move right past it. I think you were doing that.
So obviously we're in the future, so I don't know what has transpired on now that we're in November 20th, I think is today, or November 21st. So I don't know because of course we're in the past while we record, but I thought this
20th.
was
20th.
Okay. I thought this was really cool and I just wanted to shout it out. Sam and Colby posted a video on their Reacts page and it was like, should we buy the Conjuring house? And I was like, oh, God, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
If any YouTuber were to do it, I think I would want them to versus any other YouTuber.
I just don't want a YouTuber to, but.
Right. So I watched it and, that was just clickbait because they're just such, I don't know them, but we know people that know them and, everybody knows I love them. Look, I'm wearing their merch. Didn't even plan that. And basically they said that they thought about it. They threw the idea around because millions of us have been like, buy the Conjuring house. Not me to them, but you know what I'm saying? This is what I thought was so freaking cute. They then posted a snippet of Andrea Perrin with her little plea to Jason Hawes. I have goosebumps right now. And they said they do not feel right when the person that should actually have the say in it wants Jason to own it.
Absolutely.
And so then they encouraged everybody to go to the GoFundMe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then
I love them for that.
Jason Hawes posted a video and played their little clip. It was like, this is so cool, Sam and Colby. Like, we want this to be, I could just cry because it's like, whatever. So,
well, remember when they were at the Conjuring house, they video chatted with Andrea. And it's like, we all know I love that woman to death, and I've only gotten to meet her a handful of times, and she
kissed you,
such an energy about her, and she needs all of our positivity and vibes and everything. So while we're in grateful season, send some good vibes Andrea's way, and she needs some good things.
I just thought that was fun. I thought that was really cool of Sam and Colby. And just that they shouted it out that the person that deserves to own the house, Andrea, wants it to be Jason. It was just a cool little moment. So I don't know what's going on at this point. If we're still donating to the GoFundMe, donate to the GoFundMe. Let's make it sure it goes to. I think
last I heard, the auction might be done by now.
The auction is canceled. It's done. They're not doing it. They're not doing it on October 31st anymore. It has now gone to. If you watch one of Jason's videos, he explains that I don't understand real estate. You would understand it. I don't.
Okay.
Something happened where now they
bought the debt, so now it's probably they have to start the whole foreclosure process again. Yes. So it'll be probably 6 to 8 weeks,
something like that. So let's just all donate, and if we still are donating, and let's get it.
Perfect.
Also, he's like, if we donate, you can make history. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm donating because I want to be part of the history.
Okay, crazy thing. Speaking of 5-week leads and all that kind of stuff and dates and times.
Yeah.
5 weeks from the day this episode airs is Christmas Day.
Oh.
This year has gone by so incredibly fast, I don't even understand it.
Ew.
Also, Christmas is a Thursday this year, so mark your calendars now if you want to spend Christmas with us. All right.
Oh, I was like, why? Where are we going to be?
Posting an episode. Come on now. It's Thursday.
Idiotic. All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Do you have a question for me before we open this shop up? I'm not opening the doors.
No, I don't.
What do you mean by
Because I realized I didn't enlarge my font, and I cannot do this without enlarging my font. Okay, perfect. I enlarged my font.
I'll ask again. Do you have a question for me?
All right, so this story...
Shop's closed. Go home.
Okay, so this is a story that's been on my to cover list since we started this podcast. And it's one of those stories that kind of shaped the entire paranormal world. Okay, so the reason seances exist or why we have Ouija boards and how they became popular, why I guess we already knew that. And honestly, why people like us talk about ghosts the way that we do today.
Is this what we were saying we should do an episode on not that long ago?
Just be quiet.
Okay, I'll try.
So recently, I need to take my glasses off because I keep seeing the glare of the... If we were only full video, you could see how unprepared we are. Never. Okay, so recently, though, some things kind of in the paranormal community brought it kind of back into my mind. I guess not very recently, but ish. So what if it helped people find comfort? And what if it made you rich? But it wasn't entirely honest. Would you exploit a gift for fame? So I guess these are your questions. I just had to get a lead up. So
Okay. I'm happy again.
Okay. So would you exploit a gift for fame?
I don't think I could. I would just feel so guilty about taking people's money for something that wasn't 100% authentic.
Okay. Do you think this podcast is authentic? Because we do take people's money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is all authentic.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, you have to listen. The Patrons here are all about our bowel movements, okay? Almost the beginning of every episode. It doesn't get much more
authentic.
I almost said patriotic, authentic than that. No, we have been our rawest, realest selves on here. So
okay. So what if, though, that was just a stupid side note. Okay, so what if, though, so your answer is kind of no, but what if it helped people find comfort? Hey, Zach, are you running low on spiritual supplies?
Hey, Kara, are you looking for a place with handmade items?
Yeah, we should probably go to Mystic Moons.
Oh, our buddies?
Yeah.
They make the most wonderful hand-dipped incense with over 24 scents, and we've smelled absolutely every single one of them.
Yeah, or maybe you might just be looking for a hand-strung bracelet made with only the best intentions.
And not only do they have the best intentions, they have 4 strings each, and they last forever, which I would know because I've broken every bracelet you've made for me and not theirs.
Oops. Well, they also have simmer pots for every occasion, like San to Yule.
And don't forget, Melinda is also a medium and a tarot card reader who's given us amazing readings, so she's ready to help us or you connect with past loved ones and get to know insights into your world.
My spirit animal is a camel. Thanks, Melinda. Anyway, so look for Mystic Moons on Facebook or Etsy, and then you can restock all your spiritual supplies.
Oh, be sure to check them out at www.etsy.com/shop/mysticmoonsllc.
Or at Mystic Moons on Facebook. They're all over our socials, so I'm sure you'll find them.
So go get some goodies. Okay, Kara, goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, that's still, though, I'm thinking, oh gosh, okay. Somebody who's never really sat right with me is Long Island medium.
Okay.
Right? I think she brings a lot of people comfort. I don't think she's 100% authentic, and I think she plays up the entertainment factor a lot, and I personally don't think I could do something that wasn't, that I didn't believe fully was authentic, even if it brought people comfort.
Yeah, I think that you and I have talked about that, though, a lot with different things. There's a lot of people that we feel exploit things. So my next question was going to be, what if it made you rich, but it wasn't entirely honest? So obviously you're saying no, which I
wouldn't feel right about it.
No, I agree. At first, one of my questions was, instead of would you exploit a gift for fame? I had, and the listeners might now know where this is going if you didn't already. Would you exploit Emily for fame? And those that don't know, Emily is Zach's sister. So
100%.
I knew you would say that.
No. That's not my conscience anymore. I'll exploit. I love you, Em, but like, come on, let's go into business.
I knew that's why, so I changed the question.
I could still sleep at night.
Emily, girl, I had your back. That's why I changed the question. All right. So tonight we're talking about three sisters, Leah, Maggie, and Kate Fox, who did exactly that.
Okay. I had a feeling. We were just talking about them in that Ouija episode, and I've been hoping that would stoke you to finally write this one.
So whether you see them as pioneers or con artists depends on how you defined a gift or their gift. Okay.
In quotation mark, gift.
If you're not familiar, don't worry, we're going to go back in time. We're going to go to Hydesville, New York, 1848. It's a bitterly cold winter in upstate New York.
Sorry, giving you sound effects.
You should. That would actually be so funny. It's not far from Rochester. And this is where the Fox family, John and his wife, Margaret, and their two youngest daughters are renting a small clapboard farmhouse while their new home is being built nearby. Could you define a clapboard farmhouse for us?
Could I defined?
Can you define?
I would.
It's basically the style. Clapboard, just the style.
I didn't even get to stop razzing on you to answer.
Your face looked like you had to Google it, like you weren't sure.
Yeah, she's 100% right. I was going to argue with her, but
I didn't know what it was either, so I had to look it up. But it's basically just a style. Okay. But when I say small, I mean like tiny, tiny. All four of them share one main room with a curtain that's dividing the parents' beds from the girls' beds. That's how small this little. So when we say farmhouse, it ain't like a sprawling farm ranch.
We're talking like what, a step above a shack?
We might call this a shack. So
okay.
All four shared. I already said that to you guys. All right. So the wind basically whistles through every crack and the wooden walls groan and the temperature drops. Remember, this is also in the winter. So like we are kind of in a shack. So John Fox, he's a blacksmith. He's very practical, no nonsense. But Margaret is deeply religious. She's Methodist by faith, but within the 1800s, she became fascinated with the spiritual, and she believed in omens, dreams, and signs from the divine. Okay. Now, their daughters are kind of opposites. So 14-year-old Maggie is described as shy and sensitive, while 11-year-old Kate is more playful and bold. So they're just normal kids.
There's always one in each family, I feel like.
Yeah, they're just normal kids until the wrappings start. So neighbors would say the house or shack or whatever we want to call it had a coldness, that people who lived there before the Foxes complained about odd noises and drafts that they couldn't block out. One earlier tenant, apparently a man named John, I think it's Duslier, claimed he'd heard footsteps in the middle of the night when no one else was awake. And remember, one bedroom. So there's not many rooms.
Not many places to walk around.
But in a rural place like Hydesville, people didn't talk about hauntings. They just kind of moved on because remember what time frame we're in. Okay. So when the Fox family rented it, they had no idea of the reputation. At first, the sounds are ordinary enough, creaks, taps, boards shifting in the cold. But then they got louder and sharper. They'd come home at night, and after the family blew out their candles and climbed into bed, a few knocks here, a few raps here, sometimes near like the head, sometimes near their headboard, sometimes right under the girls' feet. So it was all just like different types of noises and places. They started hearing dragging noises, like a chair being pulled slowly across the floor or something heavy being scraped through the dirt. So it's not just like one type of sound and from one area.
You know, quick side note, now that the squirrels are back in my walls, I think I'm going to name it or call it a possession.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's rapping. It's not squirrels.
Okay.
And our longtime listeners, just so you know.
Squirrels on the walls.
They're back. They're back. And I'm not pleased. Okay, go on.
Okay, so one night, Margaret Fox felt her bed actually shudder, and she sat up clenching, clutching, clutching, whatever, the blanket. and heard a loud thump from beneath the floorboards as if someone had dropped a stone directly under her.
Okay.
So she shouted for John to wake up, but when he lit a candle and checked the cellar, it was empty. And it happened again the next day, and again the next. And the neighbors could hear it, apparently.
Oh.
People living next door said that they could hear faint tapping coming from the Fox house after dark. And it became kind of like a thing that small towns thrive on. Whispered at the general store, at church. You know, everyone's forming their own theory. Okay.
I guess there's probably not that much to talk about back then.
No. Do you know what's so funny? Side note, because I must have taken it out because I thought I had it in here. I put, when I was talking about everything, like squirrels on your walls. And then I was like, wait, is that too soon? And I was like, let me not make you mad. So I didn't put it in there.
It's been
the long-time listeners.
We're like coming on literally the 2-year anniversary because I have a warranty on the work that was done, and I pulled it up. And
oh, good.
Here's the thing that I'm crossing my fingers. It is only under warranty if they go in the same access point. If they found a new point, I'm not covered.
And we don't know.
We don't know.
Get up there and look.
I just hope they send out the same technicians who came out last time who did some magic with the numbers, and they could probably just say it's the same access point. We'll see what happens. Okay, so the week leading up to March 31st was the breaking point. Every night, the sounds grew louder and closer. John and Margaret, they just stopped sleeping. It was that bad that they just could not sleep. Yikes.
The girls would cry themselves to sleep and then wake up to the same thumping sound beneath their bed. They tried everything. They stuffed rags into cracks in the floorboards. They nailed loose boards down. They even had a neighbor come inspect the foundation for rats and birds. I think that's where I put it. And squirrels on the walls, but nothing. So,
lucky them.
I know. So then came Friday, March 31st, 1848. Did I say 1848 at the top of this episode, or did I say 1948?
I think you said 18.
Okay. All right. So
if not, correction.
Yes.
It was
1848. Okay. So that night, the family gathered around the fire. The house was bitterly cold and the wind was sharp. But after dinner, they started hearing knocks again. Steady, deliberate, and like closer than ever.
Okay.
The girls swore it was coming from the bedposts. Margaret thought that it was coming from the roof, and John insisted that it was the wind. Remember, he's practical.
Yes.
Okay. But it wasn't, because the wind stopped, but the knocks didn't.
Well, there goes that explanation.
I know. So this is kind of where like the game begins, if you will. That's when Kate, the youngest, decides to test it. And in one version, because there are a couple different variations, in one version, she laughs and says, "Mr. Slipfoot, do as I do." Now, Slipfoot, if you didn't know, was an old nickname for the devil, one her mom used in sermons to describe temptation or evil. So it wasn't really playful. It was like defiant.
I'm pretty sure it's Splitfoot.
That's totally what I meant. What did I say?
So you said Slitfoot a couple times.
It's Splitfoot. Okay. I'm a ding dong.
Okay.
It is
I tried to save you.
It's okay. Well, you did save me. Thank you. It is Splitfoot. Just try saying that. Splitfoot.
I got you. You keep going. I'll correct you when it comes up again.
No, I'm done with saying it. Okay, so she snapped her fingers and the knocks answered back. So, one for one. Snap, knock, snap, knock. And then she tried again, faster this time, then slower, and still it copied her exactly. So Maggie joined in, and now the room echoed with snaps and answering raps until the two girls were almost giggling with fear and disbelief, like what is happening. Their mother, though, she's not laughing.
I feel like we know exactly what that feels like.
Yeah, but their mother's not laughing. She's like terrified. But in some versions of this story, she kind of fell to her knees and started praying. In others, she stood up and like demanded, "If you are injured spirit, rap 3 times. So it's kind of just like, there are just different variations of it, right?
It was early 1800s.
And like I said, in the one, she just demanded, "If you're injured spirit, rap 3 times. 3 loud, deliberate knocks echoed through the room. Then she asked, "If you were injured in this house, give 3 more. Again, 3 more. And she went on asking questions. And every time the sound responded, 1 knock for yes, 2 for no. When she asked if you were a man, we got 1 knock. Were you murdered here? 1 knock. Is your body buried in the house? 1 knock." So they're kind of just like, they're going through all these questions quick.
And it's seeming intelligent pretty quickly once they start trying to talk back to it.
And it's immediate. So yeah, very intelligent. So by now, though, the entire family was just like frozen, and not just because it's cold. Even John, who dismissed all of it, admitted he couldn't explain what was happening. And that's when the story really starts to splinter. So this is kind of like where we get some conflicting accounts. But again, it's 1848. What are we going to do?
Plus, I feel like if anybody who knows a little bit about these people, there's a lot of...
Yeah. So in some retellings, especially those written years later by spiritualists, the night is described like a divine revelation. Okay. The girls are pure conduits chosen by spirits to reopen the line between worlds. But in skeptical accounts, like the Rochester Democrat or later the New York Tribune, the story sounds more like a case of like cabin fever and attention that's gone wrong. Okay. Which you can see.
And I think we've seen that exact same dichotomy play out time and time again with the paranormal.
Yes. So they describe two mischievous girls playing tricks in the dark and a mother who, desperate for meaning in a harsh life, believed them.
Okay.
There's even like a middle ground version, and that's that the girls did start it as a prank, tapping on the bed with an apple tied to a string. So in one, it's like they tied an apple to a string and they would just kind of like tap it, like where you couldn't see, or like clicking their joints and making noises in the wood. But when the adults began to like believe them, they kind of got stuck in that lie. So what kind of became as a joke, something like much bigger spiraled and they couldn't control it, is kind of like one of the thoughts. So regardless of like which version you believe, by the night's end, the entire household was convinced that they'd made contact with a ghost. So the next day, neighbors poured into the Fox's house as like to witness this. Dozens of people packed into that very small room, taking turns asking questions and hearing the invisible raps answer back. They discovered that if they asked the spirit to count to 5, it did. If they asked it to imitate their knocks, it did. And eventually they learned that the spirit claimed to be a peddler murdered in the house years earlier by a former tenant.
I recall that part.
Yep. So the story went that he'd been buried in the dirt cellar below.
Right.
So of course, they started digging.
It reminds me of the Gary house you just did.
Oh yeah.
Not far off.
Okay, so over the next few days, though, neighbors like kind of excavate the cellar by candlelight, remember? And they claim to find strands of hair, bone fragments, and even a piece of human tooth.
Okay.
So
there might be at least some proof.
Okay. Historians, though, have kind of argued ever since whether those remains were even human. A decade later,
it's on a farm.
Yeah. Some said that they were animal bones, like you just said, a farm, and others swore that they weren't. But it didn't matter. The people of Hydesville believed because they'd heard it with their own ears.
Right.
And this kind of brings us to the birth of spiritualism.
Absolutely.
So within months, the Fox sisters became famous.
And I think, and I'm so sorry if I'm getting ahead, just tell me to stop, but I think it was that spiritualism existed in small pockets. And now all of a sudden there's this group who's starting to be well welcomed by the community. And that's what helped it like escape into the mainstream.
So here's like, okay. So at this point, their older sister, Leah, had kind of stepped in to like, quote unquote, manage things. And she moves Maggie and Kate into their home in Rochester and starts arranging public demonstrations.
Right.
And a bunch of different research says a couple of different things. Some research says that the girls went to live with other family members. And then Leah was like, this, like you just said, is starting to be a movement of like making up your own religion. And she wanted to get on board. So whether it was because she wanted to get on board of making her own religion and she could see that she could use her sisters to do that, I don't know. Or if the girls really did just get sent to her and she was like, wow, this is incredible. So there are different accounts to that as well.
Right.
Now, Leah apparently was struggling with her life and her marriage too. So it was kind of one of those things where people are like, she exploited her sisters, which we'll get into that a little bit more. But you're right. It was kind of like in little pockets of quote unquote spiritualism or this different type of religion.
And it's weird too, because it's like, it's a religion, but it doesn't, you can be spiritualist and Christian at the same time, like we kind of touched on. It's like a sidestep to it almost. It's a religious, I would say more of like a religious belief that you can, because you could still practice your normal religion and be a spiritualist.
Yeah. Okay. So they move in with Leah in Rochester. Okay. So then the Foxes couldn't even leave their home. Like the girls couldn't leave their home without people following them, begging to speak to the spirits. Even when the family like tried to sleep, people were knocking on their windows, demanding demonstrations and demanding that I want to talk to this person, my loved ones, whichever. And like you think about it now, we would never do that because there's so many different outlets we could go to and we can just pay people like anywhere to do that. And like you and I personally have friends that just do this.
Absolutely.
Or not do this, but they have these abilities. But this time.
Yeah, that's a good clarification for where the story goes.
Yeah, this ability. This time, that wasn't a thing. This is like, they've never had anybody that can communicate with their past loved ones.
No, and now you're getting into the Civil War and times where people are losing their loved ones left and right.
They're losing their loved ones, but they're also losing their minds now that they think that they can, not think because we can, but that they're like, oh my God, we can talk to these people that have passed. So I understand why they're like the hype and the beating on the windows and stuff, but it's like, oh my God, could you imagine?
No,
it's wild.
Not at all.
Like I was just saying, it was just like wild. So with the girls living there, though, with Leah, like I said, she kind of almost like immediately realized what she had. Okay.
Yep.
This wasn't just a haunting. It was a movement. And so she began organizing these public demonstrations. Audiences would sit in a darkened room as the girls asked questions to the spirits, and knocks would echo from unseen places. Reporters attended, skeptics attended, priests, politicians. The more people tried to explain it away, the more the mysterious, more mysterious
like people had to
seemed.
Go experience it for themselves.
Yeah. So it's like, but just like more and more came to try to just like see what was going on. And then they left more unanswered than when they came, right? Which we know this type of stuff. We get it. So every person who entered left with their like own truth. So some were convinced it was fake, a clever like ventriloquism.
Yep.
Or toe cracking. Ventriloquism.
You got it.
Others left crying and swearing that they spoke to their dead children or their loved ones. Okay, so the Fox sisters like had started something that they couldn't stop even if they wanted to. So if we're to believe that this is fake, how would you be able to stop this? But also if we're to believe that, and I'm playing both sides for you guys, if we're to believe that this is true, how could you stop this? Because you were helping all of these people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so to kind of understand why a little bit more than we were just talking about, the Fox sisters exploded the way that they did, you have to understand what America was like in 1848. And we kind of just touched on it, but this was a country obsessed with revival, religious awakenings, and happenings everywhere. People were talking about salvation, visions, divine gifts, prophecy. So like you said, it was kind of going around. And at the same time, though, people were dying young. We had epidemics, we had childbirth accidents. Families wanted comfort, and they wanted to believe that death wasn't final, as we do now. It
was kind of a time between like large religious movements. Like I think that sort of Quaker and what's the other Christianity-based one from England was kind of on its way out, and more of like Catholicism and stuff was slowly coming in. So there was still the belief in God, but they didn't have as structured religions as we have right now.
Yeah.
Or structured churches.
Right. And so spiritualism, it offered everything that we just talked about. So it wasn't just a belief, it was evidence to people.
Absolutely.
The knocks you could hear, tables that moved, messages you could write down. Like it made grief feel interactive.
And it touched on all your senses. You know what I mean? They
right.
All your senses during this,
which is that
movement.
Interactive part. Like you're in it. Like think about when you watch an actor on the screen that really makes you just like, you get chills, you get emotion, you can smell what their surroundings are. You could hear like, you get visceral things. That's what it was giving to people. So they were, again, if it was fake, you're so engrossed in this feeling and you're like, how this isn't fake because I'm feeling, I'm hearing, I'm smelling, like I'm just in it. You could understand if it was fake, how people could get drawn
totally
into
wrapped
it.
up in it.
Mm-hmm. So spiritualism, though, it gave women in an era where they had almost no public voice a platform. Because as mediums, they could speak in public, command rooms of men, and be taken seriously because the words weren't theirs. They were the spirits.
I mean, we talked about it even in the Ouija episode. Mm-hmm. Abraham Lincoln had a woman medium advisor.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So the Fox sisters weren't just entertainers. They became symbols. Proof that communication with the dead was possible and that women were somehow closer to the unseen world. Okay. And so by 1850, spiritualism had become a full-blown movement. Seances were happening in homes across America and Europe. Spirit tables became all the rage. People would gather around, place their hands lightly on the surface, and wait for the tilt, the turn, the raps to answer. New mediums were popping up like every week, each claiming to do something more spectacular than the last, you know. And there were spirit trumpets that floated through the air, messages.
I love the spirit trumpets, man.
I know.
I don't know why.
Messages that appeared written in soot on walls, glowing hands that emerged from the darkness to touch believers' faces. Like even the elite were captivated. So prominent abolitionists and early suffragists attended seances because they saw it as like a part of a bigger social awakening, a sign that humanity was evolving and that women and men alike could connect directly with the divine.
I'm so sorry. I would give my left nut to go to one of these
Colby
1800s. Lose? That was for a very different reason.
Yeah, but he lost one. But what one was it?
I haven't asked him. If I ever meet him, I'll be sure. No,
I think I'm going to Google it.
But to go to one of these like 1850s seances with the table tilting and the crystal ball and the ectoplasm coming out of mouths. And the drapes,
everywhere, and the cloths and the just
drapes and the cloths and the... Yeah, no, just to experience that once, I would be so down.
Oh, me too. So for a while, though, this all felt unstoppable. Like how wouldn't it? Like you would never think that this would just like end. And it obviously hasn't like ended, but like the movement itself kind of like, you know.
Yeah, so, spiritualism fell into some hard times.
Yeah. So the Fox sisters were invited everywhere, okay? Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., crowds packed theaters to hear the mysterious knocks that had started in the small little farmhouse. And newspapers began calling it the Great Spiritual Awakening.
I could see why.
So Leah, ever the businesswoman, she kept the sisters touring, earning money, and gaining notoriety. But fame, especially spiritual fame, comes with skepticism, like we kind of already talked about. Mm-hmm. And so this is kind of like where it gets more of now like the doubters and the
imitators.
Thank you. My God. My brain is not.
I don't feel like I've had to help you with this many words in a while.
You haven't. It's just one of them days, baby. If you're new here, this is the thing.
Well, welcome. Go back and listen to some old ones.
Ooh. So scientists and magicians began attending seances to expose trickery. So some observers claimed that the sounds came from toe joints cracking or knuckles hidden under tables. Others swore that they caught the sisters faking, yet still left feeling something unexplainable. So even the skepticism of certain people were like, oh, I don't know, this was fake, but I don't know, I still feel I can't explain some things, you know? Meanwhile, other mediums began popping up everywhere. And then, like I said earlier, each kind of claiming to be like more better and just like have more dramatic flair and this and that. And like we said, the floating trumpets and ghostly hands, it all just became very entertainment, which we still know now today that
is all over the paranormal community.
And we understand why. We get it because we're in a world of like instant gratification, and we need to be entertained instead of just like educated. So it's kind of the same thing.
I mean, let's be honest. If 85% of a Ghost Hunters episode was them just standing around in the dark and, playing an empty voice recorder over and over again, would we watch it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because like, how many times have we gone to haunted locations and we're just like, if we were to record the entire, usually it's like a 12-hour, I was gonna say shift, a 12-hour shift. If we were to record our complete 12-hour shift, what do you think we would leave with? Maybe an hour?
Well, let's be honest. We've probably posted about 5 minutes tops of evidence over the time. That's about it. And that's across multiple.
I think if we were to actually really go through everything, not even an hour tops. So there you go. We got to entertain you. And we do it with our idiocracy. All right, moving on. So for many grieving families, though, this is deeply personal. So even all these skepticisms, it still brought in other people because they want to know, and it's so personal. People had lost loved ones in the epidemics, the war, like you said, and they really clung on to the spiritualism as hope and a way to keep the dead alive. So even as it was kind of like, people were trying to like debunk it and do all these types of things, there were so many people that were just clinging on to it because that is all that they had in their lives because of how rough the time was.
And just, think about that with like the Civil War and everything. How many of them, you don't get closure. You don't get an open casket. You don't even have a body at the funeral so many times. It's just like they went off to war and you never see them again. You probably don't even have a funeral.
I was just going to say, you might not even get a notification or whatever that they passed away. You just might never see them again. So you don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then like we kind of were just talking about though, the cracks kind of begin to show, if you will, if we're going to go this route. So as the years went on, the sisters' personal lives kind of fell apart. So Leah kind of, I don't know, she grew controlling. I think she might have always been, but it said that she grew controlling. And Maggie ended up falling in love with a man named, I think it's Alicia Kane, a famous Arctic explorer who begged her, though, to give up spiritualism because he saw it as deceitful and beneath her.
Listen, I'm just putting it out there. If an Arctic explorer came to me and begged me to leave my job to be with him, I'm quitting tomorrow. This is my job. Don't look at me like this. We don't barely get paid.
Zachary. But what you believed in, he said, is deceitful and beneath you. I don't know. That sounds shady to me.
Okay.
That's a real big red flag.
I'm with you on that part.
Okay.
I kind of ignored the red flags. You know me.
Boy, do I. Okay. So he died young. And when he did, she spiraled. Okay. Kate began drinking heavily, and both sisters grew tired of being paraded around like novelties, which I could understand. So Emily, don't come up with anything that will make you exploited. But by kind of the 1880s, they're like once glorious careers. They're just like fading, and it's just like not a good time. Okay. It's not great for anybody. We've been doing this now for a while, and it's just not happening. So the movement itself, they just started to like kind of grow beyond the team. It started, oh my God. The movement they had started had grown beyond them. Okay.
There
so,
you go.
Which I think we can all relate to something, maybe not in our lives, but when you grow something, you start it as little baby seed, and then it just spirals into all of these fucking weeds that you cannot take care of anymore.
Absolutely.
You can't even control. That's what was happening. And then there's thousands of mediums, professional seances, and even entire spiritualist churches at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too much.
In the camps.
Yeah. The original sisters, they were broke, bitter, and haunted by what they created. Mm-hmm. Whether it was true or fake, that's not a doubt. It just overtook and it ran like a field of weeds. Okay. This brings, are you good? Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I do, but I want to see where you're going next because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Great Confession.
Okay. Before we do this,
yeah, I knew.
Okay, so I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just going to keep what I have And the only thing I will say is I think just like in the present day, there's fake and real going on both sides. And I think you and I can say that we agree that we believe in really strong psychics and really strong mediums, but for every one good one, there's probably 50 fakers. And I think it's the same now as it was then, or the same then as it was now.
It's probably worse now. Well,
they have more of a platform.
There you go. Okay, so now we're going to go to the great confession, if you will. So in 1888,
bum, bum, bum.
Maggie Fox took the stage at the New York Academy of Music in front of a sold-out crowd, and she confessed. Do you know what she said, Zachary? That it was all a trick.
Ankles, right?
It was all a trick. Okay. So that from the very
beginning... Was she the drinking sister?
I think that was Kate. Okay. From the very beginning, she and Kate had created the raps themselves by snapping their toes and joints, a sound they could produce even through shoes and floorboards. So to prove it, she demonstrated it live, and the audience gasped as they heard the unmistakable knocking sound echo through the hall. No spirits, no ghosts, just a 55-year-old woman cracking her bones on cue. I know, right? So then the headlines across the country, spiritualism exposed, read the papers. Okay, it was everywhere. It spread like wildfire. Right. You can only imagine every skeptic was like, I told you so. Okay.
And everyone who believed and spent money was probably pissed.
Yeah. But within a year, Maggie retracted her confession, saying she'd only done it out of anger and desperation. She said that she was broke, pressured by skeptics, and bitter at her sister Leah for controlling their lives. Okay.
I have two thoughts on this. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say them now or not, though.
We can debrief at the end.
Okay.
So, was it a hoax, or was it a confession born out of guilt and pain? It just depends on who you ask. So, the movement kind of survives, right? And so even after the confession, the spiritualism movement, it didn't die. If anything, it almost grew stronger. The public loved the mystery too much.
Right.
Okay. And mediums like Daniel Douglas Home and I think it's Eusefia Palladino became international celebrities. Okay. So seances evolved, table turning, ectoplasm, like you kind of said earlier, spirit photography, and later Ouija boards in living rooms. By the early 1900s, spiritualism had become a global phenomenon.
Absolutely.
And guess who stepped into the ring next?
Is it a gentleman by the name of Francis?
Well, to those that don't know, it's Harry Houdini.
Bum, bum,
Francis. Bum. Okay. So Harry Houdini versus the mediums. Okay.
I love this plot line.
I do too. Okay. I think it's great. Okay. So Houdini, if you've been living under a rock, the world famous magician and escape artist, lost his beloved mother in 1913. Okay. And he's a fascinating person. He's on my list to cover too. But anyway, so grief stricken, he started attending seances hoping to reach her. But what he saw convinced him that most mediums were frauds exploiting grief. Okay. So then he made it his mission to expose them.
Who better
right?
to expose people doing sleight of hand?
Right.
He's going to see right through it, obviously. But the difference is he's doing it for entertainment.
Right. So he's doing his profession for entertainment, and then he's seeking these people because he's grief-ridden.
For completely different need.
Correct. But then he's seeing this and knowing those tricks of the trade. And he's like, what the actual hell? So yeah, he made it his mission to expose them, which I love this. Okay. So he'd attend seances undercover.
This is my favorite.
Debunking their tricks on stage, showing how spirit wraps could be recreated with hidden tools, how tables could move by magnets or threads, how ghostly hands could be made from muslin and wire. So he knew everything. He even testified before Congress in 1926 asking for laws against fortune telling and fake spiritualists.
He was pissed.
This is a part that I'm like, okay, like he was really coming out for them. Okay. So he was friends with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay. The creator of Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
Who was ironically a believer in spiritualism. Okay. And their friendship actually ended over it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So he was like, I'm done. I'm not being friends with you because you believe in this. That's how strongly he wanted to.
Something about this just set him off. And I think it kind of comes down to the beginning of the episode where we talked about, like, you're doing something. He couldn't sleep with the fact that they were doing something that brought people comfort for the wrong reasons.
Speaking of cutting off friends, the friend that I cut off, it's her birthday today. And I don't know why, but I find it that I just want to say happy birthday. Hope you had a great day.
Because you're petty.
But should I do it?
No.
I'm gonna do it.
I know you are. Okay.
Houdini saw the Fox sisters as tragic. Just women who might have started it all as a childish prank and ended up trapped like in their own legend. Okay. This kind of spirals us to the end of the Spocks.
Wait, are you going to talk about, though, Houdini's name during all this?
Oh, you can.
Okay, this is my favorite part. So when he was going undercover to debunk them, he wouldn't join the crowds as Harry Houdini. He would join it as Francis Rod, or for short, F. Rod, fraud.
Yeah.
His whole undercover name is such a play on words, and I love the absolute
so I didn't even add that in there. No, so when I was going to do a two-parter, I was kind of do a whole part on Houdini, but no, he fascinating human.
Absolutely.
I'm covering him at some point. Okay. So Maggie and Kate, they both died in poverty, which is really sad, within a few years of each other, actually. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it is really sad because it's like, they were exploited for so many years. So many years. I mean, think about it. At 50, what did I say? 53 years old. 53 is when she finally was like, yeah, it's a hoax, or I was fucking around with you guys. Then retracted it because she felt like she had to say it. She had to tell people it was fake. She's been doing this since she was a child. And then died in poverty, though.
So I think now I can kind of give the 2 points that I was going to bring up. Do you have more?
I have a little bit more.
Okay.
So by the time they passed, the movement that they had created had taken a life of its own.
Yeah.
Leah, we all know her. She died wealthier, but also alone. Her reputation tangled between praise and blame because people also praised her for this and then blamed her for what she did to her sisters.
Right.
And then the house at Hydesville was torn down, but during later excavations, more bones were actually found in the basement, reigniting the debate all over again. And to this day, historians argue, were the raps real? Was there ever even a body buried there? Or was it all just a strange mix of performance, grief, and belief that spiraled into something that the world just wasn't really ready for at that time?
Absolutely.
And what I'll say, and then we can kind of debrief, is their legacy is still a legacy, right? So they opened the door to an entire new world. And once that door kind of cracked open, it just never closed. Okay.
They at least made it okay for everyone to talk about the paranormal openly. You weren't going to the asylum, you weren't, or the state hospital for it, you know.
Right. So whether you see the Fox sister as con artists, visionaries, or just victims of their own creation, one thing is certain, that they changed the world, or how the world talks about death, like you kind of just said, and the living who refuse to let death go. Because before the Fox sisters, the dead were silent. After them, they never stopped talking. So we really, if you think about it, we can thank the Fox sisters for this podcast.
Absolutely. Like, as much as we give the Warrens credit, the Warrens wouldn't have been anything without the Fox sisters. And they're always, the people we give all the credit to is always drowned in controversy. But, you know, the best people in the world are, so are the worst. But anyone who's shaken up the world is doused in controversy. Here's the two things I've always kind of debated in my head. And I don't know which one I land on. One, and this is where I lean, just because how it starts is how so many other quote unquote possession style hauntings start, right? And we have a lot of people corroborating it. It's this starts quiet, it gets louder, it's messing with the walls, the beds and everything. We have countless tales of that happening over and over. Yeah. I think, and we have neighbors who corroborated it. I think something strange was probably happening here that couldn't be explained. And I think it was probably paranormal.
In the neighborhood. Who are you going to call?
Now, this is 3 sisters who are living in a 1-bedroom shack.
Well,
Ghostbusters,
two sisters.
True.
Just remember.
Right. And another one who saw opportunity and said, well, if you're able to do this, let's take it on the road. I think they probably all believed they could at first. And maybe once they left that one location, they had to get more creative in the ways they did things because it wasn't quite working. So I think that I really feel that it's rooted in reality. I don't think it's the apple, but I think it also ties into what you were saying where like once something you create runs away from you and now you're bitter, of course, you're going to say something to mess with that. So I think it probably is a mix of both. I think they probably did some real shit or experienced some real shit, but then along the way, got taken by greed.
So what I will say, because again, I'm sorry, I did condense a lot. And so I took out a lot as I saw fit, but I guess I shouldn't have taken this out. What I will say is that, and this is where a lot of people are like, well, I don't know how to explain that part. When the neighbors were flooding in, right, by the dozens.
Yeah.
And they were asking these questions, they started asking personal questions, okay? That even if we were to believe that the girls were doing this, the girls would have never known the answers to.
Right.
But the answers were also being answered correctly, right? So it was just like wild questions and scenarios that there's no way that the girls could have known this. Okay, if we were to believe that.
I think there's something about that location too that helped.
You're right. So I think that, like you had said, there was definitely something going on. I think the girls did have something ability-wise.
Yeah, that amplified it.
But when you try to put on for people, sometimes it doesn't just transpire the way that it does naturally. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you were to talk to like a lot of our friends, like if we were to just like talk to Exie, she's not always going to have something for people.
Absolutely.
And it just depends on the environment and the things like that. So I think that the girls did have something. I do. I don't think they were lying.
I do too. No.
And I think that when Maggie came out to say that she was faking it, I think she felt pressured and just over it. Like, you're 53 years old. You've been doing this forever. Like, I'm just done being bombarded.
And you can't tell me she wasn't pissed about being broke at 50 and watching everyone else with the movement she created.
Right. And then also, though, to come back and be like, you know what? I messed up. I said that out of anger and despite, and like, but this is I don't know. It says something because either way, like, I don't know if she really wasn't trying to get money out of those things. Some people do say that she was by coming back out and saying that she was like she lied, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
So quickly, I didn't even write about this. This is off the rip because I know we're long in. I had started writing this, a year and a half ago.
I think.
Because certain people that we have met, and I'll just say it, Satori Hawes and her, are they married now? Are they? No,
I don't
they're just,
think
I think
so
they're just
yet.
engaged. And Cody, they had this ability at the Conjuring house.
Yeah.
And Cody has had this ability for a while at certain places, but with Satori, it comes out. And there's so many things you can watch on it. And, Sam and Colby did a whole thing on it. And it became then where Sam and Colby got a lot of flack for it. Mm-hmm. A lot of flack to the point where they did not know what to do with themselves. They did not retract or recant anything that happened, but they did make a whole follow-up video about how people were like, this is fake and they could have known this. And the answers were easily researched, deep dive. And so they had to just kind of be like, listen, this is what happened to us. We don't know if it's real or if we don't know if it's fake type of deal. And then they even brought Satori and Cody back on for another video, random places to do these like weird thumping things, right? So I don't know. I have a special place in my heart for Satori and Cody. And every time we've talked to Satori, I will tell you that on Ghost Hunters, I will not name names anymore, But there are a lot of people that I've changed my mind about.
Mhm.
And you and I have talked about it off air, and it doesn't matter. You could probably figure it out. Satori is number one of them. I think she is so genuine.
Yeah, and here's the thing is
So
everyone
sweet.
came out online and were saying, oh, they're doing this for money. They're doing this for money. There are things that Cody and Satori do for money. And that
They
is
won't
not
do
one
that.
of them. They
will
have,
not
from
do
day
it.
one, have refused to charge. And that is one of their core values that you always see.
And
Now, people argue, oh, they used it for fame. The way this shook up the internal community before they were on Sam and
Colby.
we're going to cut that. On Sam and Colby. SeanCody.com, one of the first guys I ever dated ended up on that website.
Oh, you told me.
Yes. Maybe I won't cut that.
Patreon.
Whatever.
Or Patreon.
Oh my God.
That would be so
okay.
funny for Patreon. Okay.
Sam and Colby. Wow, Freudian slip. Okay. They were even reluctant to do it for the paranormal community. They wanted to do more research. They wanted to prove it. And for whatever reason, the opportunity came out for them to go on there. And I think they've gone way back in the closet since. And I think
it's sad.
I think they probably regret it.
Well, okay. So if you remember, we talked to Satori and Cody, and I said, I almost started crying like an idiot. But I said, hey, this is so crazy. I'm so sorry because I don't know you guys. But I was in an uproar when people were coming at you after you guys came out on this gift. And I feel I'm so sorry, right? And I don't want to say reactions because they're not reactions. The genuine response of them both is just so mind-blowing to me. They are some of the most down to earth, just soft-spoken humans I've literally ever met. And I'm not even just saying that. She has such a way about her. And they both were like, yeah, like, you know, people ask us all the time, like they throw so much money at us that because they want us to do this for them. We're not doing it for money. That's not what it's about. And it doesn't always just like turn on. But also It's just like, it's something that happens like that we found when we're together and we didn't realize it for a while, but we're not here to exploit that. And that's what makes me think it's real. And I know some people would say, well, they're not doing it because they can't. Now they can't do it where it can't be debunked. Y'all can go F yourself. Not our listeners, because I don't feel like any of our listeners feel that way. But that's my little rant on that.
Here's the thing. I think we can probably start to wrap it up after this, right?
Yeah.
If it's an ability they have, their ability isn't making the noises for both the Fox sisters, Cody and Satori, and anybody else who amplifies energy. Mm-hmm. Everyone's abilities show up in different ways. So who is to say that this knocking isn't happening, right? Or it's just a way that if you can make a noise, this is like what we always say, if you get scratched, it's not a demon, it's somebody, it's just them doing what they can. If making the noise is what they can.
Yeah.
And then it starts to make sense in a way you can communicate and somehow their energy is amplifying it. I'm sure that happens, but I think it is the person's gift, the location, and the spirit. Yeah. When you have 100%. Those three things acting on each other, you get the perfect
trifecta.
Absolutely. So when you take it on tour, you're going to miss the location. And God knows, I don't want to work after death. I'm not going to follow two girls around to help them make money. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's rooted in realness.
Yeah. And that's exactly why I wholeheartedly believe Satori and Cody, because they won't just go do it anywhere and they won't just do it for pay. It's just, yeah, they kind of just slipped away on that part because it's like the amount of hate.
Well, then they've had so much other drama to deal with.
Well, yeah, but the amount of hate and death threats that they were getting for this is
absolutely
fucking wild.
If I had that gift and if people were acting that way, I wouldn't do it either.
No, you and I would be petty mother effers.
Yeah.
Ooh, the pettiest.
All right.
So
good job, though. Okay. I know you were going to do that when it was really heated about, just a year,
and
13, 14 months ago.
You kind of were like, we could, but maybe. But
let's not do it and jump on the bandwagon of it. Because at the same time, we're not doing this for clout either. And that would have felt like we would be doing what a lot of YouTubers do, right? Something pops off and then everyone makes a video about it. So
and that's why I was like, you know what, you're right. And I thought about it. The reason that I wanted to do it is because I was very heated about it. And I just felt so defensive about Cody and Satori. And I wanted to like be a voice to back them up. But I was like, what is our little, small, little fucking puny platform going to do for them? Absolutely nothing.
I also think, though, you doing it not heated also shows your resolve more than your emotion.
Exactly. So we are here. Shout out to Satori and Cody. If you're married already, I'm so happy for y'all. I don't think they are, though. And if you're not, I'm still so happy for y'all. The cutest little buttons. They're so cute.
They are cute. I could let you rant on about them all day. I know, we gotta go. It's been a long way, and it's my fault because I told her 2 parts and I changed it because I got lazy.
Condensed. Okay, it's okay. So here's the deal. It's going to be Thanksgiving next week. Let's all think about things that we're going to be appreciative for. Bring them to the table. Bring them to us. So we want in the comments, what are you so thankful for? Yeah, we want to do a little
bonus about what everyone's grateful for.
What are you? Let's start. I feel like, and Zach's not yelled at me, but every time he's like, every opening has been depressing. We're going through a lot of stuff. What are we thankful for? What are we thankful for? So I'd love to, even if you guys could DM me on my you could even come to my personal Instagram, DM me everything that you're thankful for. And I would love to make a bomb ass TikTok about every person and what we're thankful for. And let's just spread that.
I love it.
I'd love that. That'd be so fun.
Perfect. Okay. No spooky stories, only gratefulness.
Yeah.
Emoji. I think I know.
Ooh, what?
A fox.
Oh!
And the 2 girls holding hands.
Ding dong. Ding dong.
Okay.
Yes! So cute.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. What else do these people need to do so we can wrap it up and close up the shop for the day?
What are you thankful for?
I am thankful for...
I know. Off the rip.
So many things. I'm just trying to think of like a big one.
What's a very simple one?
I am thankful for tenacity when things get tough.
Good one.
Right? I think in the last couple of years, we've been through a lot of stuff and we keep powering through. And I don't know where that power comes from, that tenacity, because it's definitely sure isn't in me always. And whatever force I'm tapping into, I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Well, I don't know, I had a couple, but this feels like an important one. I am thankful for our growth as in our relationship, which like, I know we're not, but we are in a relationship, right? I'm thankful for that because we've been through a lot of rocky stuff recently. And I'm just thankful that you and I can eventually come to each other and be like, you're a fucking bitch. Or we got to stop this. Like, what are we going to do to fix this? Because this friendship cannot end. And I'm just really thankful for that because that's really hard to do.
We've learned how to talk like adults. Then again, though, we've like been friends since we were in our early 20s and have, I know.
Well, I was in early 20s. You was.
I was.
Okay.
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just keep spending more time together. Okay. Wrap it up. Close up the shop. What do these people need to do to get out of here after they tell us what they're grateful for?
Creep it real, my little eyeballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.